everyone, welcome back to Tom. Today we're making spinach and feta pie. It is so good. Let me show you. Inside it's filled with spinach and feta and pine nuts and Parmesan, and it is one of the best things that comes out of my kitchen, and a lot comes out of my kitchen, but this is towards the top of the very best. And I love Shavuot because we not only celebrate the giving of the Torah, which is the ultimate kindness God did for the Jewish people, but because it was so kind, we eat dairy foods that are considered kinder than meat. And I am so excited. Spinach, feta, pine nuts, they all go back to when the Jews lived around the Mediterranean, and these are super Mediterranean flavors. Let me show you again. Spinach and feta pie, and we're gonna get started right now. Follow along to make your own spinach and feta pie. And I make some really good things, but hands down, my cheesecake is number one, spinach feta pie is number two. There's just no competing. It is that delicious. So follow along, we're gonna make it. It's super easy, super delicious. It does take a little bit of planning just to get everything you need together, but once you do, you got it. Like, it's that easy. So in my very large bowl is going 900 grams of defrosted frozen spinach. So I defrosted, I thawed it overnight in the fridge. This guy's got so much liquid in it. I just let gravity do its thing and let the liquid drain out. So that's going in, that's number one. Of course, feta is going in there. And along with that, 1 cup of Parmesan, which I just grated. Don't use the powdered stuff. You will not be happy about it. The results are nowhere near as good. So let's give this whole thing a mix. To that, I'm gonna add 3 onions, which I sauteed in olive oil. I did this last night so that one of the elements of the dish was already done. I find for some reason, if I've done one element, which is usually the frying the onions ahead of time, the whole dish just comes together so much faster. Oh, wow. Okay, you can already smell the not mozzarella, the Parmesan coming together with the onions. To that, I'm adding toasted pine nuts. And pine nuts really, they need a good toasting. They're just so much more delicious once they're toasted. All right, we're almost there. My few last ingredients for my filling is 6 eggs, which will bind it together. Let's just give it a little bit of a whisk before they join the rest of the filling ingredients. Yeah, the sink is piling up behind me, which is good because, you know, it shows that I've been cooking. Did you know there's a statistic that there are like kitchens all over the world where inside the cupboards, they just have like takeaway stuff because they don't actually cook at home. I'm guessing this current pandemic means a lot more people have started cooking from home, which is lovely. Sad for the businesses that aren't getting as much business, but really nice for home cooks. 3 tablespoons of breadcrumbs are going in there, and aside from a little bit of seasoning, some salt and pepper, our filling is done. So on the Tom website, you will find spinach and feta rolls. We're making a spinach and feta pie here. The filling is exactly the same. The outer layer, which is a phyllo pastry, is the same. The only difference is this one comes together much, much faster. You don't have to mess around with individual rolls, which today is exactly what I want to do. Today I just want a super fast pie. It tastes just as delicious. It's just not an individual thing going on. So phyllo pastry, I thawed this as well overnight. So you do have to think a little bit ahead for this recipe. because you've got to have your spinach defrosted, you've got to have the phyllo defrosted. The thing with phyllo is, if you're really clever, you've already considered what the second dish is, because our phyllo pie, if I could ever get the package open, only requires, oh my goodness, it's like really stuck in there, only requires about 6 sheets, and most phyllos come with about 14, but you'll see, like there, a few you just have to know you're going to give up on. So here is my phyllo. I've got a towel ready and waiting to cover up the phyllo as I go, because this stuff dries out so fast, it's insane. So starting with 1 sheet into my pie pan, cover the rest up, and I've got my melted butter ready to go. You can use olive oil instead of butter, but the butter does give you a crispier result at the end. Olive oil works beautifully, so you choose whatever works for you, but we're definitely going the melted butter route. So that's 1 layer. And let's do another one going in the opposite direction. So I'm putting half the phyllo sheet in the pie dish. So basically I'm starting from one end and it's gonna drape over on all sides. And then I'm gonna use that drape in order to cover up the top of the pie. So again, we're going in, and all I really need is 6 layers. So I did these 2 directions, and now I'm going to do a perpendicular one, going at a 45-degree angle from the first one. So as you could see, it's gonna be like a dress, basically a full circle of phyllo pastry is going on here, and you have to really brush in between each layer so that everything adheres. Phyllo pastry is totally fat-free. It's us who add all the fat to the phyllo pastry and really make it come alive. There are people who make their own phyllo pastry. I've never been brave enough. It does sound a little bit insane to me. All right, I'm not covering it up because I'm working super fast, but if you take any pause, you must cover up the phyllo pastry. That was sheet number 4, and we're working super fast. Yay! Because we are gonna have spinach feta pie super soon. This stuff also freezes brilliantly, so you can make it ahead of time and just stick it in the freezer. It'll come out amazing. I don't know why I wait until Shavuot to like whip out my best dairy recipes. I could really do them all year round. But for some reason, most of the year, I just focus on our everyday food and our Shabbat food. And somehow the dairy recipes that are in between being everyday and being more indulgent don't seem to make it to my table. And I think that's something I need to reconsider. All right, that was sheet number 5. This is 6 going in, and I'm gonna cover up the rest of the phyllo in the hopes that it hasn't dried out, and I'll figure out what to do with the rest of it a little bit later. I haven't thought that far ahead. All right, we're covered up and our phyllo base is done. We have to work fast because we really don't want the phyllo to dry. My pie filling is going in. So that is the next tip. Make the pie filling before you put out the phyllo pastry. Otherwise, your phyllo will dry and become brittle. All right, all my pie filling is in. It looks amazing. And starting with the last sheet, I'm going to cover up. I'm gonna brush the top with melted butter and keep on going. And then the second to last sheet is getting covered up, and we're going to brush it with melted butter. Oh my goodness, melted butter. I don't know, God created butter. That's it, and it was a good day. All right, another sheet going on there. There's this awesome, amazing video on TED on how the history of cheese. Watch it. It is so good. We are nearly done. One more going that way. What I love about this pie is that it's got a real Mediterranean feel. It's got the pine nuts and the spinach, and the feta makes it very Greek and at the same time very Jewish. My friend Debbie, who lives in Chile, her family is Greek Jewish, and they have amazing recipes using feta and spinach, oregano. They really do, and it's just delicious. And it's so lovely to see Jewish communities from around the world who cook very differently to the way you assume Jews cook. It's just amazing. And we are down to our last sheet, and I'm just kind of folding everything in. And I'm gonna cover this with a ton more of my butter, and then I'm gonna stick it in the oven at 180 degrees Celsius, 350 Fahrenheit, for about an hour, and it's going to be delicious. All right, make our spinach feta rolls or pies. You will not regret it, and see you all soon.